Welcome to another session of the Inner Sanctum. Welcome, everybody, with special guest teacher Bill McKenna. So today, Bill is going to show us some of his new healing techniques that he's been practicing. For those of you that don't know Bill, he's been, you've been a healer for a long time, haven't you, Bill? You've studied a lot of different modalities of healing. And as you've studied all these different modalities of healing, you've kind of mulled it over with you and your guides and sort of joined a few things together and created your own, what can I call it, spectrum, modality, what would you call it?
Well, I would just say, I figured some things out. I was able to figure out there is no silver bullet that's good for everything, but different angles of attack. So if you can't get it this way, you can get it that way. So one of those ways we reviewed in one of the other interviews, where your mind over matter, right? You could enter into a state of non-judgmental, non-wanting, and this unconditional love, and seeing the perfection in someone, and you'd have an effect on them. And so we already reviewed that, so I guess I don't need to review that one. But this one, what I wanted to share today is I've discovered even more, and there's another technique that is equally significant. And it's not only for helping to, let's say, for example, get rid of stress or weight or, the particular items that you're craving or that sort of thing. Not only does it have this effect where, say, my resentment just went away, lifetime resentment, for example, or self-blame, or you name it, these things that are underlying our stresses. But in addition to that, it has an effect on our chakras. And I knew that this was happening because people were telling me, and I could feel it, and they were telling me about it. But I have now some scientific evidence of what happens. And when, anyway, so I'll kind of walk you through the process, if that's okay. I'm going to share my screen, if that's okay. Okay. So can you see this? Can everybody see this funny little guy?
Yep. Oh, good.
Okay. So one of the things I wanted to go over, this group is very good at manifesting, and they're into understanding and learning about manifesting. And one of the things that I have been able to understand is, you remember from my previous conversations, I'm going to show you something first here. This one. Everybody remember the map of awareness levels?
Yeah.
My last one. So down here in the third dimension, we have conditional love, and then shame, humiliation, grief, despair, fear, so on and so forth. Remember that? We went over this in the last interview. And if you're watching online, you can go back and watch that interview regarding dimensions that we went over last time. We have the third dimension, where we don't really have the ability to manifest other than through force of will, right? And in the fourth dimension, we have over here unconditional love and the higher attributes, forgiveness, trust, acceptance, those sorts of things. And at that point, we have the ability to start to manifest synchronicities, coincidences. The world becomes somewhat malleable. Even time itself becomes malleable. And then up in the fifth dimension, it's complete oneness with all, and you're instantaneously manifesting everything. So if you notice, time, right, over here, third dimension, very hard to manifest. And when I do, it's through force of will, and it takes a lot of time. I start thinking of that new car, and I'm like, gosh, I sure would like a Ferrari. Man, I would like a Ferrari. Boy, a Ferrari would be nice. And eventually, you struggle, strive, push, shove, and then eventually the car shows up. Now, so it's very long, and it's done through force. On the next level up in fourth dimension, I am more clear. I am more in a place of gratitude, of love, willingness, optimism, trust, forgiveness, empathy, compassion. So in this realm, my chakra system is more clear. I'm not bound up. I bind up my chakras in fear and doubt, and they become open, the channels become open in love and trust. Okay? Pretty simple. Fear and doubt, love and trust. Shut down fear and love, open up, love and trust. Okay? So, and with this, also, the amount of time shrinks. I think Ferrari, and it's not, decades, could be maybe months or maybe less. And time gets shorter the closer and the higher you go up in dimensions. So here's how it looks, though. What a lot of people don't know is here. I'm hoping to be able to widen this out. Okay, if you notice here, this is you. These are your chakras, right? And this is your aura. So the way this thing works is you start thinking of something, and it starts to appear in your aura, but it's very fuzzy. And over time, that item becomes very firm, and then it actually comes closer and closer to your physical body, and firmer in the energetic or astral realm, and then pop, the car appears, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so that's how manifesting works in the other dimension, where there are some people either experience it when they're out of body, or in a near-death experience, they'll be able to see things that are manifesting for you. That's why a lot of people that are, good psychics, that they can actually see, oh, I see it. It's very firm, and it's very real, and it's very close to you, right? And that could be, it could be a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend, wedding ring. It could be anything. But I used a car example here as far as manifesting. So the other thing is other things sit out in your auric field. So, for example, this broken heart here, you see, in time, over time, if you do not forgive and let go, right, over time, it will come in, and it will eventually manifest. I don't know if this picture is big enough, but you can see a little ambulance there.
Yeah.
See the little ambulance?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so you got this little ambulance. So over time, all of a sudden it turns into a heart attack or something else. So just because I got my heart broken doesn't mean I'm going to have a heart attack. It happens to deal with, what did I do with that energy? Did I resolve that thing? It could be a death. A lot of people experience the death of a loved one, and they just avoided it or whatever, and eventually, oh my gosh, now look, I've got cancer. So it's very important to process the events of life. There was a Harvard study done, and the Harvard study said there's a direct proportion of happiness to our ability to process the events of life. So not only is it good to process the events of life to keep you from getting ill, but there's another beautiful thing about this. And the beautiful thing about this is that if I process those things and they're not gunking up my space, I'm moving to a next dimension and I manifest faster. So the more clear my aura is and my chakras are, the time increases. You know, I shift dimensions. I give you an example. I probably have used this example before, and stop me because I hate to tell stories 2 times. But I told you about the person that manifested a car over a weekend. Did I tell you about that? That lady?
Oh, maybe, but tell it again.
Oh gosh, I hate retelling. I'm going to make it quick. There's a being, a person, physical person I know that they're very much bumping up on the 5th dimension. You know, they teeter and totter in between 4th and 5th dimension.
Yeah.
How do I know this? Well, I know this because the miraculous becomes commonplace. And so this woman, I remember she was sitting there and she was saying, hey, everybody in the group is group like this. And the group was like, hey, how do we manifest? And she goes, oh gosh, it's so easy. What do you want to try to manifest? And I want to try and manifest a car. And they were, okay, well, I'm going to try and manifest let's say, just follow me along. You use the car you want. I'm going to use a Toyota Camry. Okay. So she sits there and she just like closes her eyes. I'm feeling the steering wheel. I feel it's here. Oh, it's got air conditioning. Oh, that's really good. And it's got electric windows. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I love it. It's got a stereo. I'm really enjoying this Toyota Camry. Oh, yeah. So anyway, this goes on for, 3 or 4 minutes. And this woman she's just demoing. She's just saying, this is how you do it. That's all. She said, I'm going to show you and do it with me.
Yeah.
This is Saturday at 3 p.m. She gets up, leaves, gets in her station wagon, gets on the freeway, and the station wagon overheats. And as it always does, she pulls over the side of the road. She's waiting for it to cool down. And all of a sudden, there's some tap on her window. Back. And the guy's, what? And she's like, yes. And the guy says, hey, are you okay? I noticed you pulled over. And said, oh, yeah, I'm fine. And he goes, oh, hey, I'm Joe, oh, nice to meet you. And I'm blah, blah. And he's, okay, great. Yeah, you live right up there. Yeah, okay, great. Well, thanks a lot. Anyway, Monday morning, so this is 1.5 days or later, bing bong, hello? And there's a guy there, hey, listen, I don't know if you remember me, but I was on the freeway a couple days ago and you were stopped and pulled over. Oh yeah, that was so nice of you. Thank you. Hey, listen, I was down at the Jaguar dealer. And they wouldn't give me any real money for my Toyota Camry. Will you please? I'd love to give it to you. Will you take it? And so, boom, like that, Toyota Camry. So she's operating where she's just pretending. She's not even trying, really. She's just showing you, and boom, it happens. So why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you this because there is a method. As soon as you understand that my energy system and the clogged upness of it directly impacts the amount of time, right? I expand the time or I'll contract the time that it takes to manifest something. It has to do, the dimensions are directly connected to how clear I am.
Okay. So what you're saying, Bill, is if you're someone that goes to a manifesting course, let's just call it that, and you're full of hatred and resentment, and you're not talking to your mother, and you're fighting with your brother, and you haven't sorted out issues with your ex, and you've got all this stuff in your field, and somebody says, I'm going to show you how to manifest. You can't manifest because your guides are saying, you got to clear up that stuff before you can know your power. Are you saying something like that?
Yes. And that is, and what's happening here, if you look, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll try to move this. Hopefully it'll move on your screen as well. But over here these are the third dimension down here. If you notice that your ability, see over here, it's your ability. Your ability to manifest in the third dimension is very limited ability to create miracles. And things happen to me or through force of will in the third dimension. And how do I know I'm in the third dimension? It was all those things you just mentioned. Shame, humiliation, grief, blame, hopelessness, despair, fear, anger, desire, meaning craving, inflated pride, demanding, condemning, right? Mm-hmm. So,
can I just say something, Bill?
Go ahead.
What I find really, really fascinating as I'm listening to you is humanity, because I think of us as this human consciousness, humanity at large. My guides have said to me, we need to understand our power, and they kept me very focused on our power of being creators. But I think that, when we do have the power to create, what are we going to create? Are we going to create something that is good for the whole, or are we going to create something that's good for us but might not? So when you look out into life, there are people that have created factories and businesses, and they might be good for the individual in that we have these nice shiny things in our house, but they might be completely polluting the environment. So we do have the ability to create what we want, but it doesn't necessarily enrich the whole. In the whole being the planet, the beings on the planet, the earth, the sky, the trees, the animals, everything, Mother Gaia herself. It might enrich your living environment, but it might not enrich the rest of the world. So
yes,
where are we going wrong there?
Yeah, really great point. So in the United States, the Native Americans, they have a saying, and it's very apropos. If it's not good for all, it's not good.
Absolutely. I had this conversation with Susie Hansen, who's a contactee, who's an experiencer, who's an alien here on Earth. Really, she's written this book called The Dual Soul Connection. And when she was up on a ship, she was hanging out with her, ET mates and some other humans and some human hybrids. And they were actually showing her how to dematerialize her human form, her physical form, and rematerialize it into different objects. This is manifestation like out of control sort of thing. This is like, whoa, like they understand how to manipulate energy to the point where they can dematerialize their human form and rematerialize it into a pencil or a bee or a bucket or a table or anything, because they have this understanding that of the energy and the information that everything is, like quantum mechanics speaks about. So yes. Obviously they live in a fifth dimensional paradigm in that every thought is not, it's like a hive mind, a collective mind. Every thought is what I do for the good of the whole. It's not about, what about me? Where's my stuff?
Right.
Where's my car? Where's my stuff?
Yeah, I got it. Well, there's steps. It's a stair step. So just specifically, exactly what you're talking about those sorts of things, those are Patanjali. If you read the Patanjali, the Vedic sutras, they knew about this thousands of years ago, and these siddhas or siddhis, they are natural occurrences as you level up, right? You level up, and these things naturally occur when you get to the fifth dimension, and they'll start to emerge in the fourth dimension.
Right.
They could be many things. This is what you just spoke about is one of them. You might be able to smell things that aren't there, or you walk into the room and you smell either, like a really foul odor or something, or somebody says something and you smell this foul odor, or a really wonderful smell of roses or something like that. These and there are many of these type gifts that automatically unfurl. The other thing I want to point out here is that there is a safety on this gun. It's probably a bad analogy, but what I'm saying is the things that you would try to manifest when you're down in the third dimension are going to be much different than the things that you would try to manifest when you're up in the unconditional love and gratitude and optimism and compassion space here. So as the gifts unfurl, they unfurl with your consciousness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's so right?
Yeah.
There's a rightness about it.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to show you.
It's interesting because I've been teaching, law of attraction and deliberate creation for a long time. And initially I was teaching people how to attract the lover and the car and the house. And we all want that stuff, right? The career and everything. But as I moved and shifted my consciousness, I wanted all that stuff too. It became less important. Like where I'm living is just perfect. I don't have to have the $1 million house overlooking the ocean anymore. Mind you, I have lived in houses like that, but I rented them. I don't have to own them. So all that stuff that we feel is so important to manifest becomes less important. And what becomes more important is empowering others, interestingly enough. I am going to put you in the hot seat, Bill.
Oh, here we go.
Are you ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so we just had a conversation about how it's going to take 10 years for you to manifest this dream job of you teaching this full time and being abundantly supported. And how?
Oh my God! Really good point. It's always in your blind spot. There was my blind spot. Thank you. Thank you for pointing it out to me. I always find that, it's so retarded, that, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? It's always in my, it's like blind spot. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, let's just use you as an example. So you're wanting to manifest a business that is teaching this full time so that you are abundantly supported and everyone can come and afford to come, and it's all, like the dream. What does the dream look like? What does it feel like? Let's inject that dream into this like what you're teaching us.
Right. Well, thank you for that. So with mine, right, there's a certain amount of it manifested for me, in my teaching courses, but there's not enough volume just to clarify what the current paradigm is that there's not enough. There people are getting tremendous change and value, and that's the value side's working out. But as far as the numbers, enough people to show up so that I could do this, on a full-time basis. So that's kind of that was that. So utilizing my own techniques for that.
Look, you're not alone with that dream. Many people on this call want exactly that dream, don't we all? Yeah. You're like, everyone wants to, exactly. They want to be the healer, the teacher, the empowerer, the uplifter, and do that in a way that supports them and they don't have to have the day job anymore. So it comes down to, it is not the area that you think. It's the area that you're not applying it to. So if I find myself down in a area, for example, on a weekly basis in my third dimensional job, doing third dimensional job and things, dealing with people who are in either fear and anxiety, and getting into that dimension and that realm, that's still part of me. That is, I'm spending, hours a day in kind of in that realm, right? So
it's a matter. It's a matter of bringing the these other aspects into my 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's do I bring this to my teaching, and even this, into my teaching, peace, bliss, joy, absolutely. It's so easy for me to be there with you guys right now. Heck, I could talk to you guys all day, but this, what it is, the light bulb you shined on it is that it has to be 7 days a week.
Absolutely.
It's not compartmentalized. You don't expect to be 5 days a week down here in third dimension, and then wanting this area to show up on your weekends, right? That, and then blossom into your whole week. So
absolutely.
Anyway.
Yeah, and also when you think of the dream, because here's the thing, when we think of something that we want, and then we get caught up in the logistics of it, like we just talked about before, you were saying there's not enough people to justify the money and it's going to cost, we get caught up in the how. Then we go down into the third dimension and we start thinking anxiety or craving or sometimes when you've been doing it for years and years and years, you start demanding and saying, make this happen. I do that with my health. It's like I'm doing healings on me and nothing changes. Then I start going, make this happen. Like the pain in my neck that I've been talking about for years. Make it go away. So we start demanding and then condemning. Why? So, it has to be like when you think about the dream, whatever it is, the job or the career or the, healing the world and making a difference in the world, you also have to be inside the vibration that you're talking about. It's easy. It'll happen. That optimism, that trust, that acceptance, that it's sorted, life's got it sorted.
Right.
It's all sorted. The mob, the guides, they're, orchestrating the details. I don't need to make things happen. I just need to focus on my vibration and let the universe sort it out.
You're right.
Sorry.
You know what? I'll share with you in an effort to also show this right here. I think I'll move this aside now. Maybe I can move this here. Okay. So this one right here, I think you guys would really enjoy this. So this is somebody that went to the Cogno Movement seminar. Yep. We did a before test. This is this test was all, I paid a company called SciTech Labs.
Mm-hmm.
SYTEK Labs. It's a laboratory that does scientific testing. They come out and they did a test on before and after. So here is these light colored are the chakras before, and it's the size and where they are at, and then after. So this person did 2 times, they did the Cogno Movement exercise. Now I'll explain more about Cogno Movement in a minute, but this has everything to do with their health and with everything else. But I'm going to show you, I happen to know this person, and this person was violated by a family member. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a very, right before the Cogno Movement seminar, they experienced a betrayal by a family member on, kind of a lifetime kind of deal. There's kind of the no recovery type of betrayal from a family member. And so, interestingly enough, it happened right before the seminar. And here's where they were at when they came into the seminar. Their throat chakra, this person could not, they couldn't speak their truth.
Mm-hmm.
The chakra obviously much smaller here and closed down.
Mm-hmm.
They were in a position where they felt like, oh my gosh, I can't even say anything to this person. It's so bad, or say anything to anybody in my family. They there was control, right? They had a lot of feeling that they were being controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And over here, the second chakra was just completely blown out. Look at the size of that thing. It was what happened is it was all family related, and also over here it had a financial element to it as well. That was it on anything financial related with this person and their family as well.
Okay.
So it was a combination of all things.
As I focus on what you heard, this person and what you're saying, and you point at that base chakra, I feel like they're feeling unsafe. They're not feeling safe anymore. That when,
oh yes,
yeah, they're feeling unsafe. Like I'm not safe. Like
yeah.
their world has been shattered.
Everything. As you can see, every aspect of their life was affected.
So tell me this second chakra that's blown out. What were they like? What does that represent when you say it's blown out? They're feeling like.
So all trust violated.
Trust.
All trust is a betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
It is a betrayal from a family member.
Okay.
Of kind of epic proportions.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What did this person do? My discovery of cognitive movement, they just focused on the betrayal and felt the betrayal, not trying to make it better, not trying to heal it, not trying to anything other than, I can't even believe it. I can't say anything. I can't do anything. And it violated me in the worst possible way. She just focused on that. And then this cognitive movement ball, left side, green, blue, orange, purple, back and forth, throwing it against a wall or, with a partner. She did it with a partner, but it doesn't matter. It's just as long as it goes all the way left and all the way right. These are the symbols of the chakras here. As you can see, also, these symbols are over here. All she did was focus on the problem, feel all the aspects of being violated, and toss the ball left, right, and say the color. So what happens? The beautiful thing about this is before these tests, we knew people were like, oh my gosh, my throat, I'm choking, or, my chest, or I feel heat in my belly. But we didn't know. Anyway, the cool thing was now everybody during their test, they actually said, yes, this is what I felt. I actually felt it in my throat, and I felt heat here, and I felt pain over here. It actually physically felt the sensation. So now we have some proof that it's actually working and aligning the chakras and appropriately sizing them. It unblocked the thing, and they feel it literally, that thing go literally up the center line of the body or down the center line of the body and out. And after that, she was like, she felt fine about it. I mean, you're talking about, she shouldn't have, felt all right about it, but she did. And all the chakras were aligned, and we scientifically now saw that it was, in fact, the case. So she could have suffered with this thing for the rest of her life, or she could do cognitive movement. So what's the benefit to this? Two big benefits, right? These are, you might want to see this. This is the energy system. It actually shows the aura around it too. Here was her aura before and after. And you see the symmetry was 82% here, and then over here it was 89%. But you can see there's a difference. It affects not only the chakras, but affects the auras. And this also, there's other test results which I can show you, which affects your glands. So the scientific test, it actually shows the energy, physical body, and glands and all kinds of things. It's an amazing test. If you guys ever want to get it, you can get one of these tests through SciTech Labs in San Diego.
Mm. So let me just reiterate this. All she did was to focus on the betrayal and then watch the ball as she did it back and forth. Is that all she did?
And say the color that she sees.
Oh, she says the color.
Like it's blue, green. Yeah.
Okay.
So it occupies the ball. The ball occupies the right-hand side of the brain, and the colors and the symbols occupy the left-hand portion of the brain. And they happen to be the same colors and symbols that are the chakras.
Yeah.
But so what did she get when she did this? Number one, her life can go on, right? Everybody here has experienced a betrayal, an epic level betrayal, right? Everybody has. So, and you know that it affects you for years, right? If not your whole lifetime. Well, for her, this right here, this broken heart, violation, it's done. It's gone. So it doesn't turn into the ambulance. Now this, by the way, probably everybody here has heard this before, but if you have cancer or something like that, they say in energetic terms that the disturbance in your energetic field, if you go back 7 years, it's because there's 7 layers to the aura, and it takes 7 years typically to get to your physical body. So whatever happened to you, you got something in your physical body, when it first showed up, take yourself back 7 years. What was happening 7 years or so? Maybe it's been in your body for a little while and you didn't realize it, but what happened then? Go back and fix that thing. Whatever that is, forgive that person, do whatever you've got to do on that issue. Get a cognitive movement ball, throw it left, right for that issue, and you'll process it out of your energetic field. Am I making sense here?
Yeah. Look, people, if you've got questions, just unmute yourself and please ask questions. I'm just trying to figure it out. So basically, when she went into rage and anger and upset and distress, she just misaligned her energy field, which showed up as that distortion in the chakras, right?
That's
and
right.
When she did the cogno movement, she's basically, so what you've done with her is you've just realigned her energy. You've realigned her energy. But she still has to do the forgiveness. She still has to sort of forgive the family member, and because if she goes back into the bloody bastard, how could he do this to me? She's like out of alignment again, isn't she?
So yeah, good point. That's the ridiculous thing. This is where stuff gets crazy.
Okay.
So
let's go.
Seriously, this is nuts. You do this exercise, right?
Yeah.
And for her, 2 things, and this is with everybody. If you go on, all of you can Google cogno movement, and then click on videos, and you're going to see all these people with different situations, and you'll see all the different people, whether it was guilt or resentment or their parents, shame, or whatever. But you'll see what happened to them. So what happens with this cogno movement is, for her, and this goes for everybody, you focus on the problem, the blame, or whatever it is, and maybe 15, 30 minutes or so, it's gone. It's gone. Literally, you don't feel that way anymore. Not only don't you feel that way, but you actually processed it out of your chakras as well.
Okay.
It's like, forgiveness becomes easy when you just don't even care. It's like it doesn't have the emotional impact anymore.
Okay, well, let's just say the scenario is that her brother just ripped off all her money or something and left her family destitute, and she has to now, sell her house, and I'm just making up stuff, right? And then she's angry, and then she does the cogno movement, and then she rings up the brother the next day and says, "Oh, come over for a cup of tea." Is that how it works? Like, I still love you and no problem. And
I think, and this is what I see, is that it's like a non-issue. And by that I mean that, you know, kind of the players leave when the play is over. When the act is over in a play, the players leave.
Yeah.
It's the ending of karma. You know, you just don't feel that way anymore, and it is over with. They don't forget, although some of them do, but they merely have no emotional charge on it. You've been around your friends, right? So some friends, you know, they'll come to you and they'll complain. I can't believe this happened. Da 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 da. This person, and you're sitting there and you're like, you know, I don't know what the big deal is. That doesn't sound like a big deal to me. I know it's horrible for you, but I have nothing. I can't even understand why you're angry.
Yeah.
Right? It just loses its emotional charge.
Yeah. That's how I watch television.